tras los legendarios enfrentamientos contra la supercomputadora Deep Blue de IBM, que lo convirtieron en una figura clave de inteligencia y en la evolución de la relación hombre-máquina. Actualmente, él forma parte de la Junta Ejecutiva de la Fundación para la Robótica Responsable y es embajador de seguridad por Avast, donde analiza la seguridad cibernética y el futuro digital. Además de portar el título de Gran Maestro de Ajedrez, es político, escritor y activista por los derechos humanos internacionales. Así que les pido un fuerte aplauso para recibir al gran Gary Kasparov.
Yes, good afternoon, buenas tardes. As you know, I come from Russia, the land of snow and vodka. And I'm very happy to be here in Guadalajara, the land of sun and tequila. But I have to add that these days I live much closer to your beautiful country. I live in New York because I had some serious disagreements with Russian dictator Vladimir Putin about the rules of chess. Tonight I will talk about a few things I know well. Of course, it's talent. What else in Talend Land? But it's also about chess. It's about making decisions. And it's also about relations between humans and our increasingly intelligent machines. But most importantly, I want to share with you tonight my optimism, my confidence about the future. Because without optimism and confidence, we can never achieve our goals. We should believe that everything is doable, and we should believe that we are up to the challenges that we are facing. And speaking about confidence and ambitions, I did have them. Also, I had some talent to become the youngest chess world champion at age 22. It was a few years ago. It's an important element of my story today because chess played a very important role in our understanding of these relations between humans and computers. I know there's a lot of anxiety about the future and what will be our human role in these relations. And I'm here to tell you the story that I hope will make you more confident and less anxious about this future. Because computers, AI, it's not a magic wand, but it's not a Terminator. It's not a harbinger of utopia or dystopia. At the end of the day, it's a technology. It's something that we humans invented. And we are still at a very early stage of understanding how this future with humans and intelligent machines will be shaped. Actually, my impression from speaking regularly to the different audiences in different countries and continents tells me that the general public believes that we are making huge progress as if we are now at the time of Windows 10. While I have to tell you, we're still at the beginning of MS-DOS era. Though looking at the age of my audience, I'm not sure you remember what is MS-DOS. We should start with chess, because that's what I know the best. And also, chess traditionally was considered to be an ultimate test for human intelligence. And though you don't see much chess in the front page of a newspaper or a main news programs, chess has been used by Hollywood and by advertisers to demonstrate the intelligence of the character or the importance and advance of certain products. So let's start with the images from the movies. I'm not sure, again, looking at your age, that you remember the bottom picture with great Humphrey Bogart in one of my favorite movies, Casablanca, who played in the opening moments chess with himself, analyzing an opening position. There's a villain from a James Bond movie, the year when I was born, 1963, from Russia with Love. And of course, the villain played chess to make James Bond task even more challenging. But it's not just about humans. You could see vampires play chess, young wizards play chess, aliens play chess. So we can find out chess almost everywhere in every kind of a genre, because chess, as everybody believes, makes characters sort of more intelligent and more advanced in their decision making. But chess has been always used by advertisers. So it's everywhere. You know, it's for banking, it's for even online dating service, so for businesses. But my favorite one is actually a real one coming from Los Angeles. There was some sort of the game between Audi and BMW. The Audi had a new luxury car, you could see there, saying, "Your move, BMW." And BMW outsmarted them, putting, the picture of their car saying, "Checkmate." I wonder if Audi looked for a new advertising agency. But it's not just entertainment or advertising. It's also chess is also a very important test for human cognition. And the affection with the game of chess started way before I faced intelligent computers. And again, as the first intelligent or knowledge worker who suffered a painful defeat, I can tell you that, again, it's a part of a cycle. And to understand how it works, we go all the way back to the very beginning of this attraction of the game of chess to the greatest minds that moved our understanding of the world further. I call these slides Founding Fathers. It starts with Alfred Binet, the father of IQ test. He has been fascinated with the minds of the chess players. And he somehow believed that if he could understand how the brains of chess players work, he could reveal the secrets of human intelligence. He was especially attracted by chess players who could play without looking at the chessboard, so-called blindfold chess. And while it's so flattering for me as the former professional chess player, I always tell my audience that the aptitude for playing chess is nothing else but an aptitude for playing chess. It's a great talent, great ability, but don't think it's magic and it can automatically make you great elsewhere. It could help, but again, it's not automatic transition to greatness in other walks of life. It's not surprising that three founding fathers of computer science, Alan Turing, Claude Shannon, and Norbert Wiener, they also believed that chess would be an ultimate test for machines' intelligence. They thought that when, and I emphasize when, not if, when computer prevails in the chess match against the strongest chess players on this planet, that will be the day when intelligent machines will write a new chapter in the history of science. It's hard for me to make such a statement, but these great minds were wrong by making this assessment, because they believed that for machines to succeed in the game of chess, they have to play like humans. They have to emulate human thoughts. They must imitate the way we play, because there was very little computing power available at that time in late 40s or 50s of last century. And according to Claude Shannon himself, chess was mathematically infinite game with number of legal moves going to the astronomical number 10 to the 46 power. So 10 and 46 zeros. That's quite a lot. So if the chess game couldn't be solved, it had to be played by like humans, just at a higher level. Now, why this mistake is important and what it tells us about relations between humans and machines today. I want you to think about it. And when we look at any machine, let's say driverless car, we always make an assumption that this machine should perform perfectly, 100% perfection. If it doesn't do that, it's no good. It's a wrong assumption, because all we have to ask from our computers is to make fewer mistakes. They have to perform better than we humans do. That's it. There's no perfection in this universe. Nothing can reach 100% perfection. But we should look for improvements. And we should not make this mistake again. Machines cannot play perfect game. They cannot solve the game of chess or any other game. But they always make fewer mistakes than we do. So that's a lesson that we learned. And now I move from science to my personal experience, because I also faced computers for quite a while, and it started in 1985. It's a picture from Hamburg, Germany. I played what we call in chess simultaneous exhibition, when a grandmaster facing amateurs. And the uniqueness of this event, that I faced 32 chess-playing engines, computers. It's almost forgotten that there was a time when there were pieces of antique chess computers. They can only play chess. Maybe some of you of my age, you still own this piece of antique. I wonder. I won all the games. All 32 games against 32 machines produced by 4 leading manufacturers, 8 models each. And nobody was surprised. To the contrary, the surprise could be the opposite if I failed to win all the games. So that tells you about the strengths of the computers at the time. They could play chess, but they were weak. And when I look at this picture, it reminds me of the golden age of human-machine relations. Look, machines were weak, but my hair was strong. And 12 years later, I faced only one computer. It was my match with IBM's Deep Blue. I always remind people that this match was the rematch, second match, because I won the first one in 1996 in Philadelphia. Just for the sake of historical records. And this match proved exactly what I've been saying for the last 10 minutes. Not that Deep Blue played perfect chess, but it made fewer mistakes. And I made too many. I just couldn't survive under this pressure. Again, my fault. I was not probably well prepared. I thought that I could go on, for longer by playing machines, fighting, and winning the same way I did in Philadelphia a year before, but it didn't work out. Machine was well prepared, and it punished me for my mistakes. The interesting fact is that if you use today a chess engine that you can buy and put in your laptop, you'll find out that it not only Gary Kasparov made mistakes, but Deep Blue made mistakes. It was a monstrous computer by 1997 standards. It could make up to 200 million positions per second. 200 million. But was it intelligent? No. It was as intelligent as your alarm clock. A very expensive one, $10 million a piece, but still, it was not intelligent. It didn't have to be intelligent. Again, it's not about imitating the way human played. It simply, played its own game, and it reduced number of mistakes. Now, to understand the progress we're making, I can tell you that if you have a free chess app on your mobile device, you do, good. It's stronger than Deep Blue. Yeah. So just again to recognize that it's all about Moore's law. It's about adding more and more power. It's not intelligent. It doesn't have to be intelligent. I always tell people that airplanes are flying faster than any bird without flapping their wings. Machines can outsmart us without outthinking us. Now, what are the lessons of Deep Blue match and the following events in chess, in Go, in Dota, in many games that you know much better than I do? That any closed system, I repeat, closed system, and every game is a closed system, with a known number of parameters, even with many variables like Texas Hold'em poker, machines will do better than us, period. It could take some time, but it's inevitable. There is no way we can compete because machines will eventually do these things better. If we know how to do things well, machines will be absolutely great in doing that. So, the match in 1997 was a big blow to me, and people asked why I was so upset, angry. They talked about my outburst at the press conference, and I tell them that it was not just my first match I lost to a computer. It was my first match I lost, period. First match in my life. Of course, I wanted to play the rematch. I wanted to face Deep Blue again, and to my disappointment, IBM made a decision which I call bad for science and good for IBM. They recognized that Deep Blue was not yet dominant at that time, and they didn't want to take a chance. So they turned me down, and there was no third match. I was always looking for Deep Blue, trying to actually find, what's happened with my infamous opponent. And accidentally I found that he's now doing sushi in JFK Airport. It's Terminal 5, JetBlue. I regularly fly out of there, and I love sushi, but I never ate there. Okay, going back to 1997 on a serious note. So after losing this match, I had to understand what were the consequences, repercussions for myself as the current world champion and for the game that I've been playing for my whole life. And after thinking and licking my wounds, I thought that if you can't beat them, you should join them. So why to fight when we can try to merge and to play much better game of chess? How about combining human intuition, human creativity with machines' brute force and machines' memory? And I came up with a version that I called advanced chess. In 1998, I introduced this version, and the idea was to have humans plus machine facing other humans plus machine. This experiment proved to be extremely fruitful, not only for chess, and actually beyond the black and white board. Because we could learn about the nature of this combination. And the very important lesson, after so many games that are being played in this kind of chess, that the strengths of this combination, humans plus machine, does not rely exclusively on the talent of a human, does not require the most powerful machine, but it's about interface. A weaker player with a slow machine but superior interface will prevail against a stronger player with a faster machine but inferior interface. Because it tells us about new kind of relations between humans and machines. We should recognize that in many instances, machines could make a better judgment. And there is nothing wrong about it. The last thing we want is to challenge machines' superior knowledge in the areas where machines prove to be more effective. So that's why having great expert could be counterproductive, because the world champion, or let's say a top professor in radiology, could be jealous about machines' qualities and could try to play his or her own game, while all we have to do is to make sure that our human qualities, our human creativity, our human intuition will help to compensate for machines' deficiencies. Now, having said that, we should look at the bigger picture and try to recognize what is exactly human roles in these relations. And to understand that, we should also recognize machines' shortcomings. And as it often happens, the first answer comes not from science, but from the opposite side of human activities, from art. Los computadores son inútiles, solo pueden darte respuestas. They can only give you answers. Now, does it sound like a paradox? Yes, but think for a moment and you understand exactly the point. Though Picasso had no idea about computers, but he was a great, or one of the greatest artists, and he knew that to reinvent himself, he had to ask right questions. Questions are a beginning. Answers come second. Now, I heard many skeptical comments saying, so what? Picasso, Pablo Picasso, great artist, what did he know about intelligent machines? How could we rely on this very superfluous judgment? Accidentally, I actually found a proof, or just it's a statement, a concept that coming from hardcore business, that supported Picasso's piece of wisdom. At one of the conferences, my presentation, it was a quantum computer conference in New York, was followed by a presentation of professor from Cornell. Oh. She spoke about convex optimization. So if you don't understand what is there, don't worry, I don't understand either. It's too complicated for me, and I almost, fell asleep when she made her presentation. But I immediately woke up when I heard her talking about Picasso's formula. Basically what she said was a very simple message. Yes, machines can ask questions, but they don't know what questions are relevant. So it's quite amazing that even in business, they understand that it's a human's role to determine the problem, that the problem is defined well. So what is the lesson? That machines can generate data. They can come up with tons of data, but they will not recognize when to stop accumulating data and to make decision, because machines don't recognize the moment when they enter the territory of diminishing returns. That's the human role. That's where we belong. Yeah, some say it's a small role. No. It's a very important role. Because if you look at this big picture, it's basically humans' responsibility to divide an open-ended space, like business, into the closed systems where machines could enter and demonstrate their brute force, their immense power. So now we can go over the cycle of human-machine relations. And the first stage is brute force, the machines that follow human instructions. That's kind of deep blue machines. They're very important. They still helped us to move forward, and most of the machines we're dealing today, they're still working with this algorithm. There are smarter machines. It's what I call advanced chess, advanced technology where humans plus machine work together. And there's a future. The future, it's where operators, I call them shepherds, will guide the groups of intelligent algorithms. And now, important point, going back to philosophical questions I asked at the beginning of my presentation. I think that one of the problems of general public's concern about AI is the fact that it's called artificial intelligence. Two objections. One is, if we believe we can work with intelligent machines, it's not artificial but augmented. But there's another one. It's not about more precise definition of our work with computers, but it's also about our feelings. Artificial sounds bad, scary, frightening, it's alien. Augmented is friendly. It tells us that we can work without any fear. So I strongly advise to translate AI into augmented intelligence to make us feel more comfortable and to recognize how we can work with machines. Now, one of the big questions being asked is, what was happening with the jobs? How many jobs are just being destroyed by AI? So whether there will be any jobs left for humans. And you hear a lot from those who are telling about the end of the world, about doom and gloom, and machines will take over completely. I always tell that these people are brainwashed by Hollywood movies. And there's some good news. One is that everything is now becoming easier to operate. So you could look at the pictures, kids starting, with very primitive keyboards on the 90s of the last century. Then you have more sophisticated devices, and now you have kids that can swipe their finger on the screen and learn more in 5 minutes than an experienced programmer could do in a week 20 years ago. By the way, that tells us that our relations with computers can change. Machines do not need super coding skills, super, scientific knowledge. They will require human expertise, human creativity, human intuition, which makes me, at age 56, quite comfortable that there will be room even for my generation. And also, when people complain about technology, I always tell them that it's not new. It's whole human history. For centuries, if not for millennials, new disruptive technology always destroyed jobs before creating new jobs. In the 19th century, most of the world lived in the rural areas doing agriculture. Today, very small percent of population is still engaged in that. In the 20th century, most of the people worked in the factories. Manufacturing jobs, many of them have gone. Today, machines are threatening jobs of people with college degrees and Twitter accounts. But in principle, it's the same challenge. There's nothing new about it. New disruptive technology always creates new challenges, and it forces us to move forward. And I always tell that technology, by the way, it's one of the main reasons why many of us are still alive to complain about technology. Just don't forget, without this technology, the lifespan would not jump from 45 years, 100 years ago to 75 years now. So, technology is not an answer for all the questions. I always tell people that you cannot expect technology to solve our problems. It's agnostic. It's neither good nor bad. It's about us humans, about us using this. Because we humans still have monopoly for evil. Unfortunately, destruction is easier than construction. But you cannot blame technology for being amoral. So, speaking about jobs, the good news is that new jobs keep arriving. Just look at this picture. These jobs didn't exist 15 years ago. App developer, drone pilot, social media manager, 3D engineer. Now imagine how many new jobs will appear in the next 15 years. And they will appear. I cannot tell you what kind of jobs because I do not know. And by the way, that's good news. But I know they will appear. And we just have to recognize this fact that it's a move. We have to move forward. There will be new great opportunities for us, as well as the challenges. And now I want just to have so the summary of what we discussed. So how does it start? You have intelligent tech products. They advance from being very weak, like early chess computers. Then there could be competition. But eventually, they become too strong and too powerful. So it's normal cycle. Which means now we have to look for human plus machine. And that's important, step forward. But we have to find the best way to combine our interfaces, create better process. Now, automation disrupts employment. It creates problems, but it creates new tasks. It creates new jobs. It creates new industries. And the good news, as I said, the smarter tools, they require less preparation. They're easier to use, less training, and retraining. As machines, and then it's just where there will be, okay, I will move on. Actually, okay. Now, it's funny when the chess player is being told that he's running out of time. Okay, we move quickly to the point. So I have a couple of, images from Hollywood that I believe are important. Just they will help you to raise your spirits. The reason I picked them up, because while people think it's negative, I believe the opposite. In the first, movie, if you remember the Terminator, it was human versus machines. But in the second and the third, it was smart human plus old machine against the new machine. And smart human plus machine, this combination prevailed. And by the way, the picture there is not a Photoshop. I really played one game with the Terminator in his office long time ago. But the second one is even more important. It's again, I'm not sure the audience recognizes it's the image. It's Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars, the moment when Han Solo is trying to push his spaceship into the asteroid field and is being told by C-3PO the chances of surviving in the asteroid field are 3,720 to 1. 3,720 to 1. The answer is never tell me the odds. Now, why it's important? Because they were both right. Machine knew that the odds were slim to none, odds of survival. But the humans also knew that there was no other way around. Going back, being caught by Imperial Guard and being killed in 10 minutes could be more preferable for machine than being destroyed in 10 seconds, but it's not an option. It's a zero chance of winning. Here is this one actually had a big, big value. That's exactly where humans could make a great difference. Great difference. Because we understand so when to take a risk and when we should defy the odds. And now, just again, I mentioned optimism and confidence in the future. 1969, we'll be celebrating soon the 50th anniversary of Americans landing on the moon. By the way, few people remember, while criticizing the space race, that in the same year, in 1969, there was a first signal sent on ARPANET on October 29 from UCLA to Stanford. ARPANET is the predecessor of Internet. So 20 years before World Wide Net, the signal was sent. And ARPANET was a byproduct of space race. Now, while looking at these pictures, we should remember that the computing power you have in your pocket today is thousands and thousands times greater than the entire NASA computing power in 1969. Now, the question is, how do we use this power? So, do we play games or we try to solve problems of humanity? The big question is, do we want to change reality or we want to escape reality by playing Angry Birds or Free Fire? Again, remember, so you have so much power, in your pocket that NASA could even dream of. And they succeeded in doing something phenomenal. So that tells you that there are no limits. And by the way, you ask me, so what can I do? I tell you, it's a wrong question. What you cannot do, it's more precise because it's about our ambitions and about limitations we impose on ourselves. Talent exists everywhere. It requires an opportunity. And just, one local story to the end. It's almost forgotten name. The greatest Mexican chess player ever born. It's at age 21, he showed up in Moscow at the strongest international tournament at the time, having no professional experience. And not just he ended up the 6th on the field of 21 strongest players, but he beat a former world champion, Emanuel Lasker from Germany, with one of the greatest combinations that now can be found in every textbooks in chess. So the story of Carlos Torre Repeto tells you that, again, it's up to you to actually find your, your horizons and to move forward. Our old machines made us stronger by doing physical labor. They also made us faster, capable of circling the globe or rocketing to the moon. Our new intelligent machines will make us smarter, capable of anything. So don't ask, why me? So it's not someone in Silicon Valley who is going to change the world. It's us. So without looking around, always look in the mirror and ask, so why not me? Because future is here, future is today, future is you. El futuro es aquí. El futuro es hoy. El futuro eres tú. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Gary. Gary, we have some questions about Talend Land community. Okay?
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
gonna tell it before in Spanish and after in English. Gary, ¿sabes que tu lema es el trabajo duro es un talento? ¿Qué nos puede garantizar que alguien que trabaja duro puede competir con alguien de talento nato? Gary, we know that your phrase is hard work is a talent.
Yeah.
What could guarantee us that the hard work could compete with someone with natural talent?
Now, I always feel very uncomfortable when hard work and talent being divided. I think it's a very unnatural separation. If you want to be successful, you have to match your talent with hard work. And I'm hearing about somebody who is just, he's not that talented, but he's a hard worker, or she's a hard worker. I find it's almost, it's like depreciating for hard work, because hard work is a very important element of a talent.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Next question.
The sound goes there, so I don't even hear
Okay,
it.
cool. ¿Piensas que los genios del ajedrez son genios para el ajedrez o el ajedrez los hizo genios? Do you think that the chess geniuses are geniuses because chess, or the chess make them geniuses?
Look, I said in the very beginning of our presentation, chess talent is chess talent. You should not look for some, unique elements of that. It could help you to improve in your decision making if you know how to use your experience. But it's not unique for chess. If you know how to utilize your experience in your profession, it could help you elsewhere. So that's why the only important thing about chess is that you have to analyze your games. So that's why it helps you to improve your decision-making skills. But again, it depends on your ability to be honest with yourself and to be able to criticize your own decisions.
Okay, last question. Sabemos que eres una de las grandes mentes de nuestros tiempos. ¿Por qué escogiste enfocarte en derechos humanos en vez de la tecnología?
Yeah.
English?
Yeah.
We know that you are one of the greatest minds nowadays. Why did you choose to focus on human rights instead of technology?
Look, these days, I'm wearing a few hats. I do quite a few things. I still engage in promoting the game of chess. It's a small part, but important part of my life. I believe chess belongs to the classroom, and I hope one day it will make into educational system worldwide. I also engaged in what people call political fight, though for me it's more like fight for human rights and democracy. I'm chairman of Human Rights Foundation, followed great Václav Havel, first president of free Czechoslovakia. And I also think that it's very important to engage with technology, because technology influences our world. Technology changes the way we communicate. And, trying to separate human rights and democracy, from technology and the progress, it makes no sense. Technology affects every walk of life, social, political, financial, and we have to recognize that it could be used for good or bad, but it's very important that we, people of the free world, people who invented all these great tools, great gadgets, so we also have responsibility to make sure that the technology helps us to move forward and not to attack humanity. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Gary.
Well,